There's a question nobody wants to ask out loud. Not what happens when we die. That one's easy. That one's comfortable. You either go somewhere nice or you go nowhere at all. And nowhere doesn't hurt because there's no you left to feel it. The real question is worse. What if death isn't an exit? What if it's a door and the room on the other side wasn't built for you? Because here's the thing about every theory we're about to look at. Not one of them has been disproven. Some of them are taken seriously by physicists, and a few of them are far, far more terrifying than simply ceasing to exist. Let's start with the one that traps you. Theory 1. Quantum immortality. In quantum mechanics, there's an interpretation that says every possible outcome actually happens. Every coin flip lands both ways. Reality splits endlessly into branches. Now apply that to your death. You're in a car accident. In most branches, you die. But somewhere in that infinite spread of possibilities, there's a branch where you don't, where the impact hits 2 inches to the left, where you survive. And here's the trap. You can only ever experience the branches where you're still conscious. You can't experience your own death. It's not available to you. So from the inside, from your point of view, you always survive. Now run that forward. 60 years, 90, 130, 200. The branches where you survive get narrower and narrower, and stranger and stranger. And there's no rule that says they have to be pleasant, only that you're alive in them. Quantum immortality doesn't promise you youth. It doesn't promise you health. It promises you continuation. An old man in a hospital bed, every machine failing, every organ shutting down, and it just doesn't finish. Decade after decade, the universe keeps finding the one improbable thread where you're still breathing. It's not heaven, it's not hell. It's a hallway with no end. Theory 2. The eternal return. Nietzsche proposed a thought experiment. Imagine a demon visits you late one night and tells you this: you will live this life again, exactly as you lived it. Every joy, every humiliation, every small cruelty, every wasted afternoon, in the same order, forever, infinite times. Nietzsche meant it as a test. Could you love your life enough to want it again? But strip away the philosophy and look at what's actually being described. You won't remember. That's the part people miss. Each cycle is fresh. You'll fall in love with the same person for the first time, again. You'll make the same mistake, again, believing it's a choice. You'll lie in the same bed, on the same night, dying the same death. Terrified, thinking it's the only time. And it isn't. You've already done this. Uncountable times, including this moment, including you, right now, hearing these exact words. Theory 3. The long moment. When you die, your brain doesn't switch off like a light. It floods. Electrical activity spikes. Studies on dying brains have recorded surges of gamma waves, the same patterns associated with memory recall and vivid dreaming, in the seconds after the heart stops. The theory goes like this. Your sense of time isn't clock time, it's constructed. Your brain builds it. And a brain in crisis, a brain flooded with everything at once, might build a very different clock. So the last moment of your life, the last flicker before the lights go, might not feel like a moment at all. It might stretch. Not into eternity, exactly, but into something functionally indistinguishable from it. A subjective forever, compressed into 6 seconds of objective time. And whatever mental state you happen to be in when it starts is the one you stay in. Peace, if you're lucky. And if you're not lucky, your afterlife is the worst instant of your life, held open forever, while the paramedics call the time of death and go home. Theory 4. The Boltzmann Brain. This one comes from thermodynamics, and it's the theory that makes physicists genuinely uncomfortable. In a universe that lasts long enough, random fluctuations can assemble anything. Given infinite time, particles will occasionally, by pure chance, arrange themselves into a functioning conscious mind, complete with memories, complete with a sense of a past that never happened. The unsettling math is that these random minds are cheaper to produce than an entire universe with an entire evolutionary history leading to you. Which means if you're picked at random from all conscious observers that will ever exist, you are overwhelmingly likely to be one of them. A brain assembled from nothing, floating in the void, holding a lifetime of false memories, having one single thought before dissolving back into chaos. So there's no afterlife. There's no before life either. There's only this sentence.
And your childhood is a file that was written a second ago and will be deleted a second from now. Theory 5. The Bardo. Tibetan Buddhism describes a state between death and rebirth, not a destination, a transition, and the descriptions of it are strange, specific, and far darker than the Western sanitized version. In the Bardo, you don't realize you've died. You wander. You try to speak to people who don't answer. You see visions, and the texts are explicit that these visions are projections of your own mind, your own accumulated fear. Here's the disturbing part. The Bardo is a test of recognition. If you can recognize the visions as your own mind, you're free. Almost nobody does. Instead, terrified, you run. And running is the mechanism. The fleeing itself pulls you toward a womb, toward another body, toward another life of the same confusion, chosen not by a judge, not by a god, but by the direction you happen to be panicking in. Your entire next existence, decided by a flinch. Theory 6. The Resurrection. This one's modern. It requires no soul, no god, no metaphysics at all, just enough computing power. The argument is simple. You are, in some sense, information, arrangement, pattern. And information can be reconstructed if you know enough about the initial conditions. A sufficiently advanced civilization, thousands of years from now, running simulations to study its own history, could rebuild you. Not a copy that thinks it's you. You. Same pattern, same memories, same interior life, waking up. And you would have no way of knowing it happened. There'd be no gap. Death. Then instantly, seamlessly, somewhere else. Now ask the only question that matters. Why would they rebuild you? Because you don't get consulted, you don't get consent, you're data, and data gets used for whatever the people holding it want to use it for. Curiosity, entertainment, punishment, study. The most disturbing version of an afterlife isn't one designed by a cruel god, it's one designed by a bored one, the part nobody talks about. Notice what all 6 of these have in common. None of them involve punishment for sin. None of them care what kind of person you were. There's no judgment. No scales, no fire for the wicked and light for the good. That's the actual horror underneath all of this. Every religion that ever described an afterlife made it about you, your choices, your worth. Even hell was a compliment in a way. It meant you mattered enough to be sentenced. These theories don't do that. They describe an afterlife that's indifferent, mechanical, a consequence of physics and probability and information, running whether anyone deserves it or not. The universe doesn't send you anywhere. It just doesn't necessarily let you stop. And of all the theories on this list, exactly one of them is true. We just don't get to know which one until it's too late to prepare.